Hello, everyone! To those just joining, everyone watching things back on the VOD, whether it's here on Twitch or on YouTube, depending on when you're watching this, hello, welcome to another stream. And while originally on Wednesday I said today would be a Kingdom Hearts 2 stream, first things first, those plans changed to originally playing Resident Evil Outbreak with friends, and then those plans changed again because not everyone was around to be able to play it, and also people were tired. So I decided, you know what, we're gonna opt for an art stream today because my head felt like it was going to explode, and I wanted to do something that's like, you know, nice, simple, a little calm. And I haven't done one of these for a while, so it's always nice to unwind with them. And also, I hope you're doing good too. Hope you're doing good. But yeah, I wanted to just sort of unwind and do something smaller, something a little simple today, rather than either just figure, like, trying to sort of pick my brains for any sort of inspiration, or defaulting to Kingdom Hearts 2 and with my head feeling the way it was, like, not a headache sort of sense, but a sort of, oh god, I'm feeling so overwhelmed kind of sense, where it would not be good if I got upset. So I have opted for this instead. Yeah. So I may as well just fire up opera music on Opera. It's Xenoblade music again, of course. I really need to try and curate a whole playlist of stuff that I feel like would be nice to listen to on a stream, rather than always opt for like the same. Um though it's not entirely bad. It's just my safe little option for like music while I'm doing this kind of stuff, whether it's art or game dev or anything like that. Um, yeah. So in terms of what I want to draw, I don't know exactly. Like, I don't have anything really in mind. Like, there's nothing that sort of jumps out in my mind to say, you need to urgently draw this. Though eventually I have been mentioning like a couple of times that I have been wanting to go back and type, like, sort of going over my emotes again, because while they're okay, while I like how I did them the first pass, if for example I use my not the ones that Dragon drew, because her ones fit into frame perfectly, but my ones where I got a little bit ambitious with their sizing and stuff, you can barely see that. So I want to maybe today, maybe not, but I do want to go over these emotes and sort of like redraw them so like it still gets the same vibe, the same feeling, but I'm not, they don't look ridiculously small. You can barely see that. So you know what? Maybe today that will be a bit of the focus. Maybe that will be a bit of the focus today. I'm trying to sort of go over the emotes again. So you know what? Screw it. We will start with a little bit of that. Just trying to think. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Which? Oh, is it an ad? It's a fucking ad. You can't even go as. Hmm. Damn it. That video used to be very good for listening to just Xenoblade music, and now that one is just like got it gets played with ads. So I have to go to the 5 hour one that I normally use, which kind of sucks. But anyway, I'm trying to think of what emote to go over because I think I'll go. Oh god, that was the PNG. That's not what I wanted. But I'll go over the first one that I drew myself way back earlier this year because I was very proud of this one when I first drew it. But I do want to go over it and fix it up, make sure it's like not as ridiculous. Like if I do this, it is also ridiculously small and doesn't really fit into, you know, like you can't really tell what it is. Like you could barely make out the peace sign. Also, I noticed like way later, this is kind of incorrectly drawn, like along the hand. It's kind of incorrectly drawn, like in terms of like anatomy. So I had a chance to actually sort of. You know what? I don't know if I can just bring out the tab like this. I can just bring out the tab. Oh, but what if I want to... Can I not dock it in the... The only other thing would be to use the second monitor, but I used the second monitor for OBS. So, I guess I'm going to have to go back and forth between the two. I forget that's how it looks without the shading. It's odd. And that was just the line art. Yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna get the... For some reason the body sketch is supposed to be active. Oh, there we go. It's because I hit the... Right. So my main emphasis is that I want to have the head like be as large as humanly possible. Is this 2000 by 2? Yeah, this is a 2000 by 2000. What I'm doing, the new sizes in, is an 800 by 800. So hopefully this doesn't take too much effort to try and sort of get the head as big as possible. Though at the same time, I'm also going to make sure that I have the right color set for doing the line art and stuff, so I'm gonna grab it from this other emote that I drew. Right, so it turns out it was right in the first place. Right. So right. Of course I want like similar sort of like angle. I removed a lot of like the lines for like the guidelines on the original drawing, but I can just about try and shape things based on like how it used to look before I got rid of the guidelines. Though like sometimes with art you just kind of say stuff and it feels like maybe I do know what I'm talking about, but though sometimes depending on the person it feels like you may or may not be talking out of your own arse. That's how I feel at times. And I might have drawn that. Yeah, that was a bit too much of an angle. Grab that, rotate it a little bit, and then I want to scale it up because maybe rotate it a bit more. Yeah, that's better. That's a lot better. And let me look. Is that the same? I can't tell now. Is that the same size or? I think that's roughly the same size. I need to bring the size up a little bit. Hold on. Here's me thinking I'd somehow managed to make it larger, and I had not. Okay, now that's definitely larger. Maybe a bit more? I don't know. I don't know. Like, if anyone has any suggestions for, like, whether or not this could be larger or smaller, because I want to make sure the head is, like, visible. I should also name my layers, so head sketch. You know, for best practices and the like. Just so I can actually keep track of, oh, it's this layer, and this is that layer, and all that jazz. Also, I made sure to choose pencil. Right. So, looking at the original was... Yep. And then the line art was... Yeah. I'm hoping that at the very least I can still get, like, the shape of the head and everything correct. Because every so often, when I come back to something that I haven't really drawn for a while, I always find that the art style has changed, or my art style has changed slightly. And I don't like when that happens, because I want to try and keep, like, depending on what it is that I'm drawing, like, and how I've drawn that specific thing in the past, I want to try and keep some uniform consistency between them. It's when it's when they become so varied and inconsistent that I start to doubt myself and my abilities as an artist, because it's like, oh god, I've not been able to keep this the same as it has been, so god, fuck. But, you know, it's kind of stuff like that that kind of, at times, would sort of deter me from keeping consistent, if that makes sense. But... And now I'm feeling like the head's a bit too large. Or maybe it's because... Oh yeah, that's not going up nearly enough. So I have to say, that doesn't look right. This needs to go further up. And if I need to bring things up, which probably I will need to, because by comparison... Yeah, by comparison, this is kind of a bit awkward. Lasso... I just put that there for the time being, just so I at least know that that's sorted, and then... Oh yeah, that's why it looks a bit weird, because it looks a bit too rounded at, like, this part, where in the old drawing it would go up a bit, and then round itself, I believe? So... I don't want to cut the entire layer. No, why did I do... It's looking a bit more like it. Though it does look a bit too rounded. So, go down and then that way. So, also I feel like because every so often, just in these kinds of streams normally, when I'm trying to think or I get a bit distracted, every so often I tab off of OBS to look at Twitter and stuff. I feel like that's slowly been getting a bit worse lately. Not a good thing, to admit, I know. Especially when I'm trying to do what I can to maintain my focus on things, it gets a bit worse. Also, do forgive the little snapping if you can hear it, which you probably can. I got myself a little fidget thing just to sort of try and keep myself from getting distracted a bit too much, and I feel like calling attention to it a bit more does kind of help prevent me from getting too caught up in my little distractions. So, you know, it's all good. It's all good. That looks a little bit off, trying to draw it like that, right? So I need to make sure it still rounds properly. Yeah, no wonder. Yeah, trying to do it in that way, I don't know if it works for this. Right. And I'm just also looking at how I've changed drawing, like, the fringe. Because when I first did this was like, oh, the little free bits of the fringe. If I just turn on all the... Yeah, it used to be that. And then over time, I don't know what happened. I think it started when I drew my little talkie guy. It went from free, like, this fringe being split into three main strands, to just being split only into two. And I guess in a way I kind of prefer it like this. If only for the fact that it's a bit easier on me to draw. I can't explain why, but it just kind of is, in a way. So so I'm gonna go for the hairline next, just so it's kind of there, and then how did I draw the ear the last time? Oh yeah, it's stuck out. Right. Right, I'll do it from this side first. And then that should be okay. I hope. I have no idea sometimes. Sometimes I'm a bit more assured when it comes to art, but sometimes I am just very lost. So, you know. May as well also neaten up things a bit, because this is taking shape. So hairline and the ear and like the connection to the jaw and the neck and whatnot done. Next would be to actually draw the actual like proper, like the fringe, that's what I'm talking about. So with the old one, it kind of goes over like the end there, and in my, I mean, it's hovering a bit more there, so that won't be the case here. So I could just kind of... And I don't know if I've gone further than what it used to be, or if it needs to extend a bit further down with the fringe. Okay, it doesn't extend nearly as far. How have I managed to make it shorter than what it's supposed to be? I don't... So speaking of Xenoblade, because, you know, music's playing and I don't shut up about it enough, I may have a surprise regarding, like, the Xenoblade games eventually. I'm not going to say when. I do have something planned for it in the near future. Just keep an eye out, you know. Recent, future developments and whatnot. Keep an eye on the space and all that jazz. But I do have things planned, potentially, with Xenoblade in mind. So keep an eye on it. I'll give the hair a little bit, like, rather than it being like, oh, it just kind of cuts off here, I'm gonna try and give a little bit of detail there that kind of, like, has, like, little messy bits sort of extending off the end. So it doesn't look like I've just been shaven along most of the hair and the fringe is left. If that makes sense. I lost track of everything. I can't remember. Did I eventually end up making the ponytail? No, I just made it that length, but I also added a little bit there, I believe. But then here, yeah. That sort of extends off of there. But to consider it being lore accurate, I need to try and make it a little longer. And maybe a little bushier, because sometimes, depending on how I wash my hair, it does get a little bit fluffier, so... Maybe... I don't know. What would be considered to be more lore accurate? Would it be how the hair looks by itself normally without like doing anything specific with how you wash it or take care of it? Or is it more lore accurate to sort of say, yeah, this is how my hair would look at its fullest potential? I don't, I keep almost accidentally cutting the layer. I don't know how. I think I keep pressing Control X when I'm trying to press Control Z to undo. So that's there. So now, next is the body. And because, like, of how I'm scaling things up by comparison, I don't need to draw, like, the entire body, at the very least. I just need to draw literally the top, the top part of it. Just literally the top. I don't need to worry about, like, oh, I need to draw, like, all the way down the other arm and everything. Let's just look at... Yeah, no, I think it's literally just part the way down along the top. So, also, I feel like that needs to be adjusted. Hold on. Doesn't look quite right. Body sketch, there we go. But then again, I may also be missing some important details or cutting straight past. I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. I feel like that could be said about a lot of things with anyone. I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. Yeah, because it looked a bit too angular, and that didn't look right. Now it's looking a lot less angular. So that was the main issue. That was the main issue I wanted to avoid. It looked a bit too angular. Yep, and for people who are like not watching things back on the VOD and you know, not do not have a sub ad time because that is a thing that does happen from time to time. Oh, Pezza got distracted. Oh, sorry about that. It's gotten worse. Oh wait, I have lost. Yep, the peace sign hand. There it is. I was wondering where it was. Like, where is it? But it's right there. It was on a different layer. And I did that above the head layer, I believe. still looks a bit too like rigid. Like, it looked a bit better. Now I'm looking at it again, it's like, oh god, it's too rigid. It's too much like a box. It's not, like, person-shaped. It sort of goes straight down rather than, like, curving the way it's supposed to. I think also, just for the sake of making sure I get this out anatomically correct, I would say I'm trying to take a picture of my right hand, but my finger just ow, my finger just hurts for some reason when I tried to bend it. I don't know what I did to it today. Like, it was perfectly fine earlier, so I don't know if it's how it's at, or if it's something I did at the gym today, or if it's, like, literally anything else, but it hurts to try and bend it. It feels like this has happened before in the past, but I can't remember when. But this pain hurt. This pain, of course it hurts, it's pain, but this pain sucks. It's the worst. Especially when I'm trying to pose my finger and, you know, try and get this hand looking the way it's supposed to. I do hope it's... Ow. I do hope it's okay for tomorrow, because of work and whatnot, though... Right, so move that above, please. Right, looking at that, that sort of goes down here. And it's kind of correct, but at the same time, it needs to be moved over a bit. At the very least, getting the most important part of the shape done, like, first was like the main part of it. Though getting it in the right spot would also help. I have this pain in my, like, and I can't sort of, like, click it or anything, because it just won't. Ow, never mind, it did, but it's... Though I do remember a thing that I was told, if your hand starts to hurt, then just do stretches and all that jazz. Sorry, just doing the stretches at the moment, just so the hand stops hurting. Well, it won't just stop hurting, but it will hopefully ease it a bit. Because if I need to use it for, like, reference, then I would prefer if I'm actually able to use it to its full range of motion. Now, how far... It needs to be slightly bigger as well. Again. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. Do 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 do. Right, so get that. Um. Let's see. This is right. That first line was looking a little bit too thin. That one's looking a lot better though. And unlike last time where this was a bit, this is looking a lot more natural than how I drew the peace sign before. So already a little bit of a step up. I don't know if this is a thing that like other people experience. I mean, it probably is, though. I don't know if anyone like in chat or anyone like watching things back sort of like experiences this when they do art or draw. If that's like a thing. Um. What was I saying again? Oh yeah, no, now I remember. About like having something like this where you know you're getting on with it, you're doing it, but you wish you could sort of get through things quicker, and you're wondering if that's to do with how you sort of go about doing it. Because I oftentimes wonder if like there was a way for me to do this a lot more efficiently, um, rather than just like being kind of slow and only getting like so much done during a stream. Though I guess it doesn't matter too much, though at the same time I can't help but think it sometimes. Like it is a thought that has been kind of in my head on occasion, like doing this kind of stuff. Also, for definite for next week, if I'm able to squeeze it in on Monday, then there will be a stream on Monday. However, there will not be a stream on Wednesday next week because I will be away from Tuesday until like partway through Friday. Depending on how I feel, I'll probably do a stream on Friday, though if I'm feeling a bit too like out of it, too tired, you know, too fucked up from like doing... Sorry about that. From doing stuff, then I'll probably, like, postpone it that day as well, though that depends on how I feel. So, for definite, no stream on next Wednesday because I'll be away. And potentially a stream on Friday depending on how I'm feeling. So looking at... Oh yeah, I did... I did forget, like, the start of the other sleeve. That's still part of the body sketch, so... I didn't finish drawing, like, the hole in the jumper. In the hoodie. So that's a bit awkward. Just gonna get that nice and done. Also gonna do the little toggles, because I didn't do that, and that's a detail that's also present in the original. So, I think for all intents and purposes, I'm not sure, maybe, but I think the sketch layers are done aside from the glasses. Though I didn't include the glasses in the original sketch in the original version, I'm still going to do it here anyway, just for the sake of it. So, extras, sketch. Because there may be potentially something else that I do here as well in this layer. So, I just called it extras just in case it's not just the glasses. Because you never know. I do need to lower it a little bit. It needs correcting a little bit as well. There we go. Right. And then I just need to bridge between the two lenses. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna make a layer folder, call it sketch layers. And then I'm gonna move all of these into the sketch layers folder just to keep it organized. So sketch layers is done. I'm gonna make a new layer folder. I believe I just called it line art. Yeah, I called it line art layers. So line art layers. Draw more. I do plan to, yeah. I don't know. That seemed kind of. uh, passive aggressive from me. I don't know, but I am planning on getting this done. But I am trying to organize it because for emotes at the very least, I'm a bit more organized compared to just other drawings where it's like, yeah, these are just layers and layers and layers. Whereas with emotes, I actually organize them into folders. I don't know why my brain works like this, where it's so different with let's see, yeah, where it's so different with things. Body line, Boyd line art. Right, so body line art, then headline art, then peace sign line art, and then new wrestler layer, and then extras line art. Just so I have those layers planned out. At the very least, this is already looking bigger, like, more like in focus compared to the old one. And this is more according to the style of these. Now I'm looking back, like, between these two, like, once I actually have, like, the whole... There is a sort of, like, shift in stuff. Like, it's similar to what it was, but it's also different at the same time. And it's kind of different from this as well, though it's retaining bits of this. I'm trying to make sense of it in my head. Idea. To be fair, don't think about it too much. I should not think about this too much. I should just draw, and that's about it. Also, I don't know, like, I normally use turnip pen for my line art because, like, I do like how it looks, but I don't know if I want to try something different. Though I'd say maybe for the sake of consistency, I'll just stick with turnip pen for the time being. And if I ever feel like mixing it up in like a different drawing, then I could do it then. So, who knows? I'm at the very least going to go through all the line art, like, layer by layer, so I can make sure that it's there. And then sort of, like, go over, like, the specific lines depending on the color layer. That makes perfect sense. You know, it's better already now that I'm trying not to think about it too much. Just gotta try and, like, it looks okay, but it feels like it could be a bit more, like, sunken in. That's the one, yeah. A bit more sunken in is what I was thinking about, rather than just, like, a bit more dented. Because it's not metal. Clothes don't dent, unless we're talking about, like, plate armor. In which case, yeah, that does dent. Speaking of plate armor, like, imagine just, like, casually owning, like, a bit of chain armor, like chainmail armor, like a pauldron or shoulder pad, like, and just wearing that on top of your hoodie. I feel like that would be super cool, but it's finding where you can get those. You know what? Actually, I'm curious now because it probably won't. It definitely won't. That's... Okay, that's not what I'm looking for at all. So I searched it up. I went onto Amazon, I searched it up, and instead of getting, like chainmail, like, shoulder pads, I just get the whole caboodle. I get, like, the chainmail quiff for, like, that you put under the helmet, like, chainmail bras, chainmail, like shoulder pieces, like not like the type I was thinking of where it just covers one shoulder. These ones have spikes on them. Chainmail purses, chainmail like shoulder covers, but not the ones I want. A fucking chainmail bikini. I just want cool, like a cool armor shoulder pad. Is that too much to ask? Like, I just want a cool, like, chainmail shoulder pad. I think that would go hard as fuck. But I can't find the one I was looking for. That's sad. Anyway, back to this before I get distracted too much trying to find, like, pieces of, like, armor. Because as if collecting, like, foam and wooden, like, cosplay swords wasn't enough of a problem. But it'd be so cool to have, like, a proper one. Maybe eventually. Maybe eventually if I manage to find the right place for it, I could just get, like, a little chainmail shoulder pad and just wear it on top of my hoodie. That would go crazy. That would go crazy. I mean... Then again, I'm also the kind of person who thought, you know what? I would like to own a monocle, because I think that would be pretty sick. I've never followed through on this plan to get a monocle yet, and I have spending power, so I guess I could, but I haven't because I don't want to push it a bit too much, if that makes sense. So, but chainmail would be cool. A monocle would be pretty sick in the right setup. Actually, hold on. Quick little tidbit. I'm gonna look for monocles as well on Amazon. They probably have some cheap, like fairly cheap, maybe. I'm not sure. What is the cool? What is? That's not what I'm looking. Ooh, that is pretty cool. This is just like a standard monocle that I'm looking at. I could get one of those. I could get one of those, and I feel like I could rock it pretty well. Anyway, back to drawing before I get too distracted looking for things again. I keep looking for things. Now that I keep talking about it, I keep looking for things. Do not let me keep doing this because if I had like sound alerts and stuff, and I had like channel point redeem for one saying stop getting distracted, and it's just a loud fucking noise, then you could just do that. You know, stop me from getting distracted by like looking for monocles or plate mail or like chainmail armor and all that jazz. I'm surprised give me a moment. Yeah, no, in the 8 months that I have been affiliate, I have not configured anything with the channel points. And I feel like people who sort of come, like, tune in regularly have, like, quite a fair bit of channel points saved up, but there's been, like, no sort of, like, proper thing to validate using them yet. So, I feel like... sorry about that. And again, sorry about that, gosh. Yeah, yeah, I really should do that at some point. You know, do some funnies with the channel points. Who knows? You know, a bit more engagement never really hurt anyone. gives people things to do and mess around with as well. Especially if they like a little bit of tomfoolery. Tomfoolery messing with Tom. That is... That has layers to it. That has layers to it, actually. Oh god, I really should reduce the size of the rubber, so I'm not shaving off too much of the... See, that's more of what I wanted for that one, but that one's a... I can't tell, hold on. Okay, that's actually okay, it's just that the bloody sketch was, like, overlaying it and made it look a bit thicker at the end than it actually is. I need to finish drawing, like, the little fist. At the very least, I'm glad that I could keep the fist in some way, because, I did like how it's like, you know, I can't visualize it because you can't see me doing this, but it's like the peace sign like on the right hand and then the fist sort of like, yeah, hype on that one, on like the left hand. So I'm glad that I was able to at least kind of squeeze it in a way. Though I will need to sort of like add a line at the bottom here so it's not like, oh, it just cuts off at the bottom. That would be weird. So, head gets its line art now. I feel like maybe I need to shrink the head a little bit. It looks a bit too big. So I'm going to highlight both the extras and the head sketch. I'm going to take these. How did it look before? Yeah, it looked a bit too long. Like, the head looked a bit too long. Now it looks okay. I do need to bring it up a bit, though, now, because of reasons. There we go. Headline art, we're gonna get this done. So... and who knows, if I get this done, like, fairly quickly, I can focus on doing another little doodly bit. No, that's a bit too angular. Right. Right, I'm trying to remember how I did my line art originally. Was it vector layer? Oh wait, no, it wasn't a... Where am I? I can't tell what this was. Oh, this was... Oh, it was! It was like... It was a vector layer in the original. They were all vector layers. Right. Now I remember. That's... I'm doing this all, like, just normally by hand, not a vector line art layer this time. That's concerning. And I kind of realized it as I was going through and tidying up my lines, thinking, wait, didn't I do this differently before? With literally all of my other emotes? Ah, come on. This kind of works, but it's a bit... Hold on. Yeah, that looks a bit odd. Yeah, like, it's getting there. Like... I'm getting pretty happy with this so far. Yep, no, now I remember. I was trying to... No! It's a bit... It's awkward trying to make sure it's, like, shaped correctly sometimes. Because sometimes I get into the mindset of, oh, gosh, this is taking its time. Can't I just rush this and get it done? But then I also have that inner conflict of, but wait, we need to make sure it looks like this. And then Right. So... if in doubt, just turn your brain off. That's what I try and do sometimes. That's a bit too sharp. Right, so then turn off the... That's a bit... Yeah, because that kind of... It changes angle very quickly. Like, it's like... It goes... rather than going like this. If that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And then of course I dip downwards! That's a bit better. That's looking a bit better. I do like it when like things start to take shape in the drawing. It's always a process that I really enjoy, even if sometimes at times the process is a little bit tedious, depending on the drawing and depending on what I'm trying to sort out. Um, but I do like it when if it's something that I'm hoping to get done for a thing, or if it's something that I'm trying to learn, and it starts to take shape and it starts to look in the way look in a way that's like, oh wow, this is pretty amazing. Then, um, honestly, I love that feeling. I love that feeling in a lot of things, like art included, definitely games development. Um, but yeah, generally good feeling, good kind of feeling. I'm really feeling it. If that wasn't obvious. Uh, you know what? I'm surprised that I haven't decided to just draw like anything Xenoblade, considering how often I either A, listen to B, pieces of the Xenoblade soundtrack, or B, talk about how much I love the games, which I normally accompany with listening to the soundtrack on an art stream or on a game dev stream. And then, or like when I hopped onto Fortnite after doing the small bits for the GMTK jam, where I was like, yeah, we've got like some battle music from Xenoblade in the background, because I thought, you know what, I kind of want to keep this, like, keep this sort of on the roll. That makes sense. And that's a bit too, that went up, that curved a bit too quickly, and that's not right. I know I can also rotate the canvas, but I just prefer doing it this way. Doing it in a way where I'm just kind of craning my arm around. You know that feeling when you're like drawing on an like in an actual sketchbook, and like when you're trying to hit a thing at an angle just right, and you just kind of like crane your arm around. Why do I sound so quiet? Hold on. It might be because I don't know. It might be because of how loud I'm talking, or it might be because of how close my mic was to my face, because I had it off to the side, sometimes to make room. This might be a bit louder now. If that is a bit louder, then let me know, because normally a bit louder at times, and I feel like me having my mic off to the side may have been affecting it a little bit. To be fair, it was mostly to the side for the convenience when I was doing stuff earlier. Whew, jeez. Whoop, nope, that's a spot. I'm not a good kind of spot. I mean, most spots aren't that good anyway, but depending on how you look at it, but I do like the little detail that I'm adding with like how the hair is tied back here, like where it's not just like a cut, like a flat little thing cutting across. That was a good little thought for me, actually. Like I thought, you know what, this may add a little bit of like a little bit of depth to it, and that it does work. It makes things feel a little less flat. Oh, I didn't realize I was an ad break. I was too in the zone. Yeah, no, I like the little tufts there. Also, I know you said before that things were sounding a little bit quiet on my front. Are things a bit louder now? Because I've moved my mic a bit. I've moved my mic closer to my face. So if that's the case, then it was definitely because I had my microphone off to the side originally. Because I was doing stuff earlier and I just kind of had it plonked to the side of my desk, or on the side, to the right side of my desk. That's what I meant to say, but I kept getting confused. Forgive me mildly freaking out about that stuff. It's just it's just that before stream, because my original plan was to play Resident Evil Outbreak with friends, and then I had to change plans again because people weren't able to do it because people were either tired or they were busy with stuff or they didn't have things set up, and because Head was feeling like, I thought it was better to just do this. So every so often I am just gonna kind of not stuff, anything but stuff. Stuff. The one big constant. Whether it's the stuff that I'm thinking of the Hotel Transylvania fucking sorry. Sorry, I was doing stuff. It's okay, I'm stuff. Oh my god, Mavis, no. Jonathan, you are banging my daughter. Like, that thing I think of every so often, because it's been around for years at this point. It's kind of, like, imprinted a little bit, in a sense. You know what? Like, because I know, like, Gamescom opening night was, like, on Tuesday, and I know there was stuff steadily coming out about, like, Monster Hunter, based on what people were doing at the demo booths. Side note, on that, Capcom, when are you going to give us a demo? Like, an actual demo, not something for the people at the conventions. Give us a demo. Like, a demo on Steam. But anyway, like, I haven't actually been paying too much attention to, like, anything properly announced at Gamescom, or just the whole stream of announcements in general, or string of announcements in general. I don't know why. Normally I'm a lot more attentive to that stuff, but I feel like maybe because I've been trying to sort of, like, for one, recharge after the game jam, and also because, yesterday was a bloody busy day, like, going to the zoo with family and whatnot, and I'm not really able to keep an eye on that kind of stuff properly. So, I really haven't been keeping an eye on too much stuff. I've been seeing some bits that have been, like, announced outside of opening night, but aside from that, not really too much, I guess. I should really, like, look at, probably, like, after stream, definitely look at a comprehensive list of stuff that was announced so I can catch up with things rather than going through, like, a whole slew of trailers. Because I may have time, but I don't have that much time on my hands sometimes. Especially, like, on the weekends when it concerns, like, work and the like. So, yeah, that's a thing. Though I'll look for that after stream, because that will be a me doing some catch up and required reading, in a way. all you have is time. Oh, like, like, here's the thing. Like, you could have friends, but then but depending on what's happening, you'd still have time. Though I can understand that feeling. Like this is like me getting into personal territory. Like, for like a portion of like my life, I was homeschooled. I was home educated, by my mum, and aside from one person who I kind of kept in contact with, they're not my friend anymore, but aside from one person I kept in contact with, I just had no friends. Hi Heater! I was talking about homeschool and what it was like when I was homeschooled. But yeah, I can kind of get that feeling. Oh, yeah. I was talking about the fact that I basically had no friends when I was homeschooled, aside from one person who I kept in contact with. But, yeah, I can understand the feeling, Steel. I can understand that feeling. But yeah, I'm redrawing one of my emotes here. I'm redrawing the peace sign emote because as it stands, I did this earlier on, but I will do it here again because yeah, it's kind of a bit small. You can't really tell. You can't really make out the face, which is kind of sad. So I've been spending the past hour or so redrawing this emote. Oh, this reminds me. Is this about doing your own emotes, or is this something else entirely? I am curious. God, I can't wait until like. Oh,
Ryan, you're up.
Thank you, Heater. Thank you. Also for some reason the overlay sound just doesn't play. Like, it appears, but the sound doesn't play. I don't know what's. 1 minute the bloody. I don't understand. Oh, it didn't for me. I don't understand. What's my OBS audio output set to? Is this in the audio settings, or? Desktop audio is apparently not connected. For some reason, apparently desktop audio was not configured. I don't know how that happened. But that explains a lot. That explains a bit. That explains way too much. Always a day when we're fixing technical problems. BNO, you're also drawing. What are you drawing here? I'm curious. But I am going through, like, slowly redrawing the emotes that I drew or I would be if you could of course, it is always Reagan. It is almost always Reagan. It is either Reagan or Overhaul from My Hero, or Dimple, or all of them. Or Mob. Yeah, or Mob. But mainly those three that I have listed. I do appreciate my little doodle thing that I did the other day, like back on Monday. No, not on Monday. Yeah, no, it was on Monday. God, I forgot. How did I forget? Yeah, like I essentially took this, but I scaled down like to mostly like the upper half of the body so I could get things a bit more visible. Also, it seems to adapt more of like how my art style changed from this one. Because at the moment things are a bit small. Um though there are some little extra details that I'm adding, like this little thing from like where the hair is like tied back. Um Rather than being like a flat line that cuts across, which I like. I would recommend resizing the sketch to fit in, otherwise the emote's always going to be smaller than it could be by having... Right. It's always... I hate this song because it's the only one, even though it's a Xenoblade song. I know it's a Xenoblade song, but goddamn. I don't want it sounding like we're attending mass. He's gloving it on company time. Yeah, that does work. That does work. I was about to say, oh god. That slowly scaling that up looked awful, but we did it. Alright, that's better. He is gloving it up on company time. Everyone. I can always correct how it looks. I swear to God, I always make it look a little wonky. Either that or I somehow managed to end up being a bit short from the sketch for the line art. If I could explain the machinations of my mind in this moment, then that would be an amazing discovery, but I cannot explain how my mind is working right now. And then I can always add the details for the stuff when I'm actually doing the thingamabob. Wait, actually, I should tidy this up, because this is looking a bit messy. Whoops. It's always the case that I think something looks neater, and then I turn off like the sketch layers, and it's like, oh god, it's actually not that neat at all. It doesn't look that great. It looks fine, but it doesn't look as neat as I'd expect it to be. So I have to go through and sort of just tidy it up. Alright. Since the extras line art is basically just the glasses, I'm just gonna do this, lickety-split. Why? Oh wait, I was on the eraser. Whoops. Pro tip. Lower layer opacity on sketch later. On sketch layer. God damn it. Oh wait, no, I could just select the folder and then just adjust the opacity for all of them. That's great. I just learned this. I knew you could do it individually. I didn't realize selecting a folder would let you do it for all of them that are organized into that folder. That's very helpful. Also, heater, the difference between the piece selecting, yeah, lets you do lots with, yeah, no, like, I'm only just realizing this because I'm only kind of tapping into how to do stuff with like layers and stuff properly, like with the folders and whatnot. Transforming, moving around, etc. Yeah. I do what I can, but sometimes I'm a little bit there. Oh yeah, also, the sheer difference between the peace sign, like the peace sign hand in this one, and the peace sign hand here, like it was kind of an oversight at the time. That's not supposed to look like that. The hand is not supposed to look like that. This is of course way better, because it actually looks a lot more natural, because I actually used my right hand as a reference for this. I improvised and took picture of hand in order to make sure that this worked. God bless using your own. Yeah, no, I don't know why I don't know why I didn't do it at the time, like months ago when I was doing that emote. Like, it could have looked a lot neater, but at the time, oh wait, whoops. At the time, I was just happy to have an emote that I drew, like, that I could, like, do myself, and not always ask people to help, because it's nice asking people to help, though I don't always do it because it's like, people may be busy, people may not be able to help all the time, and I also wanted to be able to do stuff myself too, so that's why I got into the rhythm of drawing emotes in the first place, because I wanted to do stuff, like, myself as well. But, like, I was happy at the time because it was the, I can't help, I don't know. No, that's fine, that's fine. Like, I'm not expecting, but... But it's like, I'm trying to think. It's now I'm just trying to like the thoughts are sort of rattling around in my brain cage, and I can't get them all in order. But it's a sense of like this emote, the one I'm redrawing. It was the first emote that I myself drew, on my own, and I was very happy with it at the time. Though there were, of course, things that I did at the time that, you know, could definitely have been better. But, you know, it's looking back and sort of seeing, you know what, this could have been this. Maybe I could do this next time. And I'm basically doing that right now, where I'm just saying, yeah, I could do that next time by redrawing it. I somehow haven't made that, but it still doesn't... Why? Okay, that's looking a bit better. I also didn't draw, like, the sideburn there. Gives a moment. Would I still want it to be, like... I don't know. Maybe I'll take the Dragon Ball approach, where I do, like, the sideburn, but then I do, like, little hatch lines there. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll take the Dragon Ball approach with that. I don't know why. There's something about, like, those sideburns where it's, like, the little straight, like, it's, like, very straight and angular, but you have, like, the little lines drawn underneath it. I don't know how to explain it. It's something about it that's kind of... I like how it looks. Also, I'm going to take my important tablets because I have not done that, and it would be bad if I did not do that, so give me a moment. But yeah, come on in. I mean, the Discord's very small at the moment. But you know, it's humble beginnings. It's getting there, but it's just, you know, it takes its time. Things take their time. I take my time. Everyone takes their time. There we go. All sorted. Right, now back to it, because I need to draw the peace sign. And then once I do that, I can actually get on with doing the colours and stuff. Peter. Because I know you would have a good opinion on this. Give me a moment to think. My head has gone empty. Oh yeah, do you, like, in terms of, like, getting art done on stream, depending on what it is, like, do you ever have the sense, like, you feel like you could be doing it a bit faster? Because I get the feeling that I could be doing it a little bit faster, though maybe that's just a sort of, like, I guess sort of, like, me kind of response, or, oh, absolutely, oh, never mind then, because I was kind of concerned, like, oh, we're an hour and a half in, but we're still kind of doing this. It was kind of the same, like, the very first proper art stream I did when I was drawing my, Daggerheart character, my little mushroom dude, and it took, like, basically the entire stream to do that. Like, even just, like, the basic pose, and then I had to do, like, my funny... I really struggle with doing art on stream because I guess what is performance anxiety, so it takes me, like, 3 times as long to do anything. Yeah, I can understand, but if it's not, like, the performance anxiety on stream, it's me getting distracted by doing things off of stream. It's the reason why, when I was, like, editing my, my Destiny 2 Final Shape video, where it basically took an eternity to, like, it took longer than a week to just do all of it because I kept getting distracted. It wasn't, I mean, it was that, but it was also, I was struggling to think of ideas because I thought, oh god, what do I even do? How can I even make this work? and that kind of stuff. But a lot of it was me getting distracted and losing focus a lot. And like sometimes I get on the roll and just, you know, well, thank you very much. Oh, you subbed to the YouTube. Oh, thank you very much. That means a lot. Thank you. But it was a case of like I would get on a roll sometimes, and then I would just get distracted by something either on Twitter or on my phone or just other things in general, because at the time I had a lot going on in my head, and I just, it took me a long time to get it done, and I'm losing what I need to do next. Ah! My brain. Don't mind me teeing. Don't mind me. Don't mind me at all. Just a silly little guy just trying to get his little brain cage under control. But when I eventually got done with it, because it did take me time, I felt pretty happy, like, getting it finally done, because it was like, wow, this thing that I set out to do, like, ages ago, eventually got done, even though it took me, like, a month to get around to it. And I was anxious at the time that I posted it, because I thought, oh god, it's my first, like, fully edited video that I've done for 2 years, and the last time I did that, I was trying to, like, squeeze things down to, like, a minimum amount of time, but I didn't even get it, like, below, like, 15 minutes or so, or 25 minutes or so. It was still, like, 40 minutes, and that was, like, not the greatest, but I learned my lesson, because at the time I was thinking, you know what, let's try and just fit in so many things that I think are funny. And I wasn't, like, concerned about time, I was more concerned about, ha 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 ha, this is funny, and that is funny, and that is funny, and that is funny, and that is funny. And, or to me at the very least, I thought, hey, let's do this bit, which definitely will age, eventually. Because at the time I was like, oh, Metal Gear Rising? Let's just do Rules of Nature, but ear rape, because I thought, yeah, that's definitely a zing that's gonna run well with, like, it would run well with like a group of people, like a certain crowd, but not with everyone. And I don't know, I guess I was kind of like thinking, yeah, this makes me laugh, maybe it will, like, do well with other people, but yeah, but at the same time, I just don't know what my direction was back then. I was just kind of doing stuff. And then prior to that, hold on, yeah, prior to that, the last thing I had edited prior to that was literally the year before that, when I edited another Destiny 2 thing, but that was like the Vault of Glass Day 1 raid race. Or at the very least, the first hour of it that I edited down, because I thought, you know what, I'm going to edit the first hour of that stream. I'm not editing the whole thing, because that would be painful, and we were also stuck in one area for like a few hours. Why would I want to do that? That would be kind of boring. But the first hour was funny enough. Shit was happening, and I think, yeah, no, that was the first time that I genuinely got angry on a stream. Where I was genuinely very, like, tilted about stuff, because it's like, oh god, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be stuff that's, like, we could talk about, like, eventually. We have stories to tell. Like, with other people in the clan, and then, you know, later down the line is like, what the fuck is happening? What is going on? You absolute... I mean, I put it best at the time where it was like, when I was like yelling at the enemies and just calling them a cunt. That's what I was doing at the time. And that was I'm pretty sure I surprised my clan members by getting so angry, because they had not heard me get that angry doing anything in the game at that point. Though it wasn't the last time they heard me that angry. It happened fairly recently as well. So yeah, but that was like the time before, like the last time before, like the recent video that I edited. If that makes sense, if that explanation makes sense. But I want to edit more. I want to be able to edit more, but it's trying to think of the ideas, really. Because like before I did what I did with the editing for the Final Shape video, I knew that I wanted to do it, but I didn't exactly know the direction I wanted to go with, going with it. Sorry about that. But I didn't know what direction I wanted to take it in, and I was concerned because it was like, oh god, like what would it work? What would work if I was doing like a thing for like, oh, this is my experience with the expansion? Would it be able to reach more than just like a limited audience? And if I was trying to do like a pure comedy thing, like how would I find things that you know, stick out to me? Because like prior to that, I just kind of did things with not too much direction, but moments that I thought were funny, I thought, you know what, I'm taking this and I'm doing a thing with it. Or if it's like a minor thing that's like, oh, look at this, this is a thing that happened, then I would do it that way too. I know I'm kind of going on and on and on about like the editing and stuff that I've done before, which is literally not that much. And aside from that, I'd only ever done like small little like game dev like devlog stuff. This is one of the vocal tracks from Xenoblade 3, whereas this is also one of the sad songs. But yeah, I know I'm just kind of I'm just going on and on and on about this stuff, but yapping is a passion of mine when it comes to streams like this, because I get to sort of talk and talk and talk and talk, and sort of like go lightning fast through things. So you're getting this time with me just doing I'm essentially just presenting you the manifesto for why I should be king of Yapsville. And that is because I will just talk your ear off, if given the chance. Give me the chance, and your ear will not survive. That sounds threatening. That sounds very like, give me the chance, and your ear will not make it out. So, there we go. We got my line art layers done. And I think what I'm gonna do what I normally do when it comes to like doing like color. And I'm gonna set the color layers beneath the line art layers. I don't know if like other people do this, because I don't know what the best practice is for this necessarily. But I'm going to do that, and then once I've done with that, because I know it's going to be like awkward trying to like, and I know the alternative is I go through like the other line art layers and I get rid of like the bits of line art that I've done, because, you know, but you know, I guess it's more of a case of, even though I know color layer underline, yeah, because I've done it a lot, but it's whether or not other people do it, because I always assume that it's like, oh, this is a thing that I do. I don't know if other people do it. Even though there's not really like any other thing in like the extra, like in the extras layer for like color and stuff, but it's mostly like putting the little glare of the goddamn like glasses. I do my line arts, then I merge the line art into one layer, the start color, then start color in the new layer underneath. So, should I merge my line arts now? Because I've never done that before, actually. I'd never merged the line art layers. Like, I know I for the most part kept them separate. Let's merge them. Merge selected layers. You don't have to, I just find it keeps things tidier and easier to find the right layers. I'll give it a go anyway, because I feel like maybe it could help a bit. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna give it a go. I also renamed them, but I feel like I'm an outlier. Like it's only with like mostly with the emotes and stuff that I actually like name them. Also, I feel like now that the line arts are like kind of merged, it's easier to get rid of what is not needed in terms of like where things appear. So it makes it possible to tidy it up a bit more. So like here, here. Oh shit, ad break. I guess for the most part, I was just kind of getting them, like kind of there. Just so that the structure's there, and then getting rid of the line art, like, where it doesn't need to be, sort of helps it. Yeah, that was basically all that kind of really needed to be gotten rid of, I think? Yeah. The body color. Yeah, now I remember. I'm still gonna draw for, like, I'm still gonna take from, like, the other stuff that I've done. Heater, also opinion for, like, Heater or any other art people. Would you argue that this, like, despite my attempts to make it not look so flat, would you still say it looks a bit flat? I'm not too sure. And I don't know if there's, like, other, like, things with the lighting that I'm missing, like, indirect lighting or anything, or if that would even work for, like, this kind of stuff. Because I've contemplated, like, having, like, indirect lighting in my drawing. I think kind of because I've done shadows, but no light. So I always thought, like, oh, it looks a bit dark. Like, it's dark enough to the point where it just like, has the... where it just looks lighter by comparison, but I feel... yeah, maybe that's... yeah, that's it. Maybe that's the big problem. Food for thought. So, I should also actually name this drawing, because otherwise, like, save it, because otherwise, if things go wrong... oh wait, I should definitely hide the sketch layers now. Like, if I was to give an example of how I would want things to feel fuller, in, like, a drawing in terms of, like, lighting and shadows. Hold on. Like, this is just me grabbing a random example of a Guilty Gear character, but, also not a random example, because I do want to draw this character eventually, because they are cool. It's a fucking web P. Can you not give me a web P? That is a... Wait, is this a web P? This is a PNG. Good. It depends how you want to do it. You could go for a more airbrushy, softer light, or like I do, which is hard light zones. I'm not sure, actually. I actually don't know. If I wanted to go into where... Oh yeah, that was the reference for Dragon's drawing, and then the pose references that I was using, because I like the little sitting pose that I did for the drawing for Dragon's birthday. But let me grab the Guilty Gear. Yeah, Testament. I was going to use Testament as my example, but I like how, like, it doesn't look flat. Maybe it's because of how I angle my shadows too, because at the moment I don't really sort of like have like strong, like very sort of angular stuff. It's very kind of flat. It's just like, oh, here's just like a line of shadow here. This is just a shadow now. I don't do anything angular, and I don't know how I would do it in a way that would make it work. But also, Testament is just cool. I do want to draw them eventually. Though, ironically enough, when I was starting to learn how to draw like more feminine figures, and like I was telling Dragon about it, I told her that my main reason for it is because because Testament's frame is more like feminine leaning, which like I guess in a way was true, but was also more of my little lie that I was telling her so she didn't find out that I was doing something for her birthday. So yeah, I can keep secrets. I'm good at keeping secrets, mostly. But yeah, I do want to draw Testament eventually, though. Off that sub, like it's like looking at the lighting and the shadows on the drawing, like on the art. Because yeah, like there is like shading, like in areas along the body, like under the arms, but there is also like indirect lighting, sort of like on the, I guess on the outskirt, like on the out. I don't know how to explain. Like on the outer part, like right here, where like there is mostly shadow here. There is still, like, indirect lighting. Hell, like, even in this part of, like, of the, sort of the waistcoat, like, mostly shadow, but then there's still, like, a little trace of, like, indirect light. Or here, with their hair, and how the sort of, like, it's mostly dark, but then there's still, like, a little bit... It's, like, cool, like, sort of blue lighting, really. But I want to be able to kind of, like, do something like that so things don't feel as flat. Because if I was to get another example of a drawing that I've done that I felt, you know what, it looks good, but at the same time it looks a bit flat. Hold on a moment. That was the drawing. That was, I mean, that's kind of flat. Like, I did good with this one. I'm still happy with how this drawing turned out, though at the same time, I feel like what is missing is definitely more light. Though at the time, I don't know why, I thought, the shading is so sharp and dark that it just makes things look like it's being lit in general, and I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. it's certainly something I could definitely improve on in the future. It's it's But anyway, I'm getting distracted again. Um, and if I keep getting distracted, then it will never get done. So, gonna get this dunzos. But it's definitely something I would want to sort of explore a bit more, because, you know, like, I like the way my art is shaping up, but at the same time, it could use little touches and improvements here or there. And definitely in a bit, I'll tidy up the lines too. I also feel like, in a way, while, like, part of it's, like, me getting distracted by, like, looking at stuff, or partially, like, slight performance anxiety, with me taking a bit longer to get through a drawing, I feel like also part of it is, like, I do get lost in, like, talking about stuff a lot, and then sometimes I just forget that I'm concentrating on art and I just talk and talk. Which is not a bad thing. I do like getting lost in, like, talking about stuff, because it's nice talking about stuff. Though at the same time, I do wish I was a bit better with sort of, like, splitting my focus on the two. Do 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 do. Yeah, no, yeah, oh yeah, thanks for that. It's, in terms of my style, like, this is, like, it doesn't translate to, like, my other, like, some of my other bits, like, my OC stuff, or the drawing I did for, like Ruby's birthday. Because, like, it's similar, but the style I do for those is slightly different. But, I feel like I really kind of, like, by pure happenstance, found a style that I like for drawing, like, this, like, my talky person and my emotes and stuff. And it's one that I've stuck with for the most part, but also slightly changed, like, over the past, like, 7 or so months. Though that's not necessarily a bad thing either. It's just that, as before, I was just kind of talking about, oh god, like, even the slightest changes, like, I want it to be consistent, but it's, in a way, it's still consistent, but it's how it evolves, I guess. Like, I feel like it's the case for a lot of people. A lot of people have, like, their own style and how they do things. And I think that's what really makes art very great is that hell you could start off like replicating someone else's style entirely, but then over time, as you sort of learn more of like how things work with everything, you're just able to kind of like do things in your own way, like your own little spin on it. I'm gonna change the color of the paper background so I can see this bit better. Because I like being able to see when I can, like, when I'm trying to color in, like, the eyeball. Because otherwise, if, like, the paper background is, like, entirely white, it's like, oh god, I can't see whether or not this looks different. And then if I get rid of, like the paper background for when I actually sort of upload this to Twitch, it's a bit of a hassle when, like, the eyes are just non-existent. Yeah, this was one I was proud of. I do wanna get better with, like, the lighting and the shading and stuff so it doesn't look so flat. Like, I'll get there, but at the moment it's just trying to figure things out. Also, I'm gonna keep I'm gonna keep, like, the color for the shading on this layer over here, just so I have that over there for when I get around to shading things. I'm also gonna open another one of my emote, but no wait, that's... I think also, like my little stream avatar that you see here, I might be deliberating, like, redrawing this as well, because, like, don't get me wrong, at the time, like, or I've been very happy with this, but at the same time, now I'm looking at how I draw, like, my emotes and stuff now, and how I try and not be too harsh with the line art, and how some of the style has changed. I do want to adjust things a bit, so it's a lot neater and whatnot. But that will happen eventually, not like literally right at the second, because that would take me a bit of time. But it is something I am debating, because it would be very cool to do that kind of thing, where I just make it look neater and tidier and generally very cool. Yeah, everyone does things just in their own way. Like, they have a way that they do their line art, they have sort of specific techniques for how they get their lines to look a certain way, they do colors in a particular way. Like, there's a lot of variance. There's a lot of variance in art that I always appreciate. Like, and even if, like, people are not necessarily, like, confident in, like, their ability to sort of get started with things, because I know that there are plenty of people who sort of shy away from doing stuff like this, because it's like, oh, you do, like, they like, from their perspective to someone else, they're like, wow, you do so good with this, I wish I could do that, I don't think I could do that, when, like, they can do, like, they are capable of doing it. they are capable of making things, and making things that are very cool. It's just a matter of, well, I've lost my thought. It's like a lot of it is patience, a lot of it is practice, a lot of it is just, you know, finding what does and doesn't work. Like, firm, like, like, I kind of, I need to save this as well. So this is just going to be new. This is just going to be the same as the same name as my original peace sign emote, but with new attached on the end because it works. That works. Oh wait, I never did the actual hoodie bit. Whoops. And I turned the opacity down, didn't I? Oh, whoops. Oh, God. Whoops. Don't mind me. don't mind me vibing along to it. I do need to do the teeth as well. I almost forgot about that. Sorry. Right, now I need to make another layer folder. Shading first. Now this is where I'm kind of a bit nervous. So body shading. Body shading, head shading. I don't think there'll be like, I can't tell from my own perspective. Hold on, because I know this light in my room isn't sure. Can can't tell. I guess in a way there is, huh? I think... Right, I'm gonna level with you. In terms of, like, drawing, like, the glasses and stuff, onto my little talky person, I never factored in, like, the shading of the frames, like, being cast onto the skin. When really, I should have, because that is a thing that happens with glasses. I never thought about that. Oh, God. Like, I never considered, like, the shadow for the frames of the glasses being cast onto the skin. I never thought about that. Huh. Am I missing something? I might be missing... Oh yeah, I am missing something. I was about to say, if something... I was about to say, something looks kind of missing. And now I realize, I didn't draw the eyebrows. I know! I just realized. I completely forgot. Did you... Actually, something I do like. I mean, didn't you know here? Shaved eyebrows. That your eyes come out further than the side of your face. Yeah. Like, I do like, doing, like, the eyes popping out a bit further. Because I feel like it works. But man, I completely forgot. Right, just to make it bridge a bit better, rather than it being flat. Right, it is stylistically pleasing to me. At the very least, yeah, I'm glad you like it here. I mean, I didn't specifically do it for you, but I'm glad that you like it. I did it because I thought it was neat. And I'm glad that other people think that it looks neat. Right, I think it needs to be the brows needs to be a bit shorter. And I think it needs to be angled downwards a bit. Whoops. Shading layers. Try and get on with the head shading first. So I already have the shading color for the eyes because I got that from one of my other drawings. So this should work. And at the very least, with, like, having the shading layers, I can just sort of, like, use, the rubber, which is good. I'm just trying to figure out what would work best. Because I know, like, that with eyeballs, like, it just kind of works to have, like, at least a little bit of shading along the bottom. Because, you know, that's how it works with eyelids, normally. And I know it's, like, a bit different because of how they're drawn, but I still think a bit of that normal sort of, like, things with the eyelids and whatnot still applies here. So, but then again, I can't work out how... See, this is a dilemma I face all the time with shading. It's like... No, not all the time. This is one I'm trying to consider a bit more now. How the hell do I do my shading so that it works? Also, I'm going to shade the... I think I'll shade the teeth first. Because shading teeth is kind of easy enough. Okay, that might be a bit too... Right, so teeth is basically just kind of done. Shading for the hair is as simple as that darker shade there. Yeah, and then the darker shades of the... My legs. Ouch. Ouch. There we go. How did I do it in the original? Wow, I did not shade the back of the head at all. That is kind of silly on my part, not gonna lie. And then we got another one of these from the Xenoblade soundtrack. Sunset Village. I love reggae. I love reggae. I love getting. Yeah, no, no. I know. I've, I've been there. I've been there plenty of times. I'm not sure because I'm trying to like do like the shadows that are cast by like the frames of glasses, and I'm not sure. Like, does this work? That's what I'm a little confused about. Does it work? It's not. Bloody. The bloody noise setting on my bloody mic on OBS is not picking up me whistling. That's sad. Right, that was not supposed to be on that layer. Whoops. I wanted something more angular-like. Like that. Oh. Ad rate, ad time. Oh, whoops. You are free. Free from the burden of the ads. Want a break from the ads? Do, 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 do. That doesn't work. Maybe with like a slight little bend. Right, back to the head shading, because now I've gotten my stuff in a bit more order. Is that more of a bloody... That's another vocal track! Because I get the feeling I would not be able to have the vocal tracks play. Which is sad. Unless it was in the context. I don't know. But I'm being safe. I think having it just be thin like that works for here. Neat. Very neat. Wow. Oh, God. It's 12:30. Jesus. Ugh. That is very neat. That is very neat, Steel. I can't help but feel like that looks a bit awkward. It looks awkward. See, hold on. There is a thing I am thinking about specifically when I'm looking at how I've done like the little bottom of the eye. And you'd probably be able to see my vision when I just show you this. And Ellen. Ah. Neat. They're also very good. Wait. I have lost what I was doing. There it is. Right, excuse Kirby hanging out in the corner. He's just on his way down. If I zoom in closer on him, because whoops. I'm fiddling with the overlay now. He's steadily approaching because he needs to show you something. So the stream is Kirby now. But he is way bigger. But so you see like the little that was honestly I am sorry, but also that's hilarious. Maybe I'll go back and get this as a clip, make it a fucking funny ass clip where it's like spooky music. No, the bloody Guardian theme from Breath of the Wild. That works. Anyway, I'm explaining a thing. So you see like the little blue things at the bottom of Kirby's eyes? Now, let's look at what I've done for me. Can you kind of see what I was also doing there? Also, I covered up chat with Kirby. That is not good. But you can kind of see what I was doing there. Something kind of similar, but... Also, I realized with the power I have, if I ever tab back into, like, this scene in OBS when I'm just doing another stream, like a game dev one... Kind of, but I did, like, a dark blue to a lighter blue to, well, shine, maybe? But, yeah, Corb influence, yeah. But, also, as I'm saying, if I forget what this thing is, if I ever tab into this, scene in OBS when I'm doing, like, a game dev stream, and I'm like, wait, what is this? And then I just open it, and it's just Kirby. You get jump scared by Kirby. And I never thought that would be a thing that happens in my streams, but, he's so big, yeah. But remember, he can be bigger. We have the technology. Also... You can't even see me anymore. I'm just stuck underneath him. Help. Oh, God. Anyway, I've had my fun. He's gone. I had my fun with that. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh yeah, the eye. The eye. That's what I was doing. Because that was the kind of thing I was going for. And then I need to shade the actual back of the head, because I didn't do that in the original, and I feel like that kind of made it... That kind of contributed to that one looking a bit flat. Also, I mean, you probably saw this earlier here in the group chat, but I'm just going to say this as a general thing. I have been trying the alpha for Splitgate 2, and, like, it's been okay. It's been okay in terms of, like, gunplay and, like, controls and movement and stuff. Like, that's been feeling okay. That's been feeling fine. What I'm kind of concerned about is, like, the whole vibe it's going for, because... Like, whatever... I can't remember the general vibe of the original Splitgate, because it's been, like, 3 years since, like, it was first, like, picking up, like, its audience that, I last played it. But... I don't like the vibe... Yeah. Yeah, I meant to... Yeah, I don't like the vibe that, Yeah, Yeah, that's fair. I don't like the vibe that Splitgate 2 is going for, because it feels a bit too esportsy. Like, it's trying too hard to just be like, yeah, esports, yeah, look at this, yeah, like, I guess, like, there's gonna be the odd game that does it, and when the odd game does it, can do it well, then it does it well, but I feel like, I don't know, it feels like it's a bit too, like, trying too hard, and it kind of comes off as a little bit obnoxious. Like, not in terms of, like, the people playing, but in terms of, like, the art style and things. That's what I'm meaning before, like, people say anything. I'm talking in terms of, like, the art style and the visuals. It feels a bit too, like high energy, sort of, like, bright colors, strobing lights, esports-esque kind of thing, rather than what it used to be. Which I don't remember much of how it used to be in Splitgate 1, but I definitely know it wasn't, like, along the lines of this. Oh, wait, whoops, that was undoing stuff on OBS. I was meant to click into Clip Studio. You just got jump scared by Curb again. Because I've never known how to properly shade hair. That's my problem. I've never known how to properly shade hair. All I've done is, like, the curved line sort of, like, shading, like, at the tip and all that jazz. I've never known how to do the actual, like, individual strands to a point that looks good. Yeah, it doesn't work so well with a solid shape. Yeah, I guess. I guess maybe one thing I do want to try in future is, like, trying different style, like approaches to the hair, like rather than my solid shapes. Because that's what I've noticed. Let me see if I can find those. Yeah, that would be super. It would be pretty helpful. Because like I don't know how it would work for us for like hair that's more of like a solid shape. I confuse myself. No, then that doesn't look quite right either. Hmm. At the very least, I'm gonna get the peace sign shading done. Oh, wrong layer. Let's see, I need to look at... Probably, I'm gonna look at the reference and see how things shape up. Let's see. Oh, whoops. I should actually draw like the outlines for the fingernails. Nah, that's a bit too pink. There we go. That's looking more like a nail. Still a bit much. Whew. This is taking its shape. Ah. Ouch. If not slightly lighter. Okay. That's a bit more like it now. Hold on. Maybe slightly, just ever so slightly further up. No, wait, that's a bit off. There. And then... there. I'd send it some stuff. Okay. I will give it a look-see in a memento. The lighting sort of makes sense. Okay, right. This would take me a bit of time to work out how this would work. Oh, that's fine still. But yeah, that would take me a bit of time to learn how to do that. Cause, yeah. I do take time to learn the things that make art go brr. Maybe at some point in VC I'll just sit and practice it a little bit, either just before or like after I get back from being away, because that is happening next week. Total stays warm. But now I would say maybe put some shading around like the edges where the light doesn't hit so much of the hair. I mean, yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. To be honest, I think it looks fine how it is. Those are just some examples where you could incorporate hair strands into a cell shading kind of style. Yeah, yeah. Like, because I think just putting in dark lines is what doesn't really get the idea across. Yeah, it's... I don't know why. I don't know why I thought it would work. Like, in the past, I guess, like, I look at it, lines. This makes it look like there's strands of hair. But then it just kind of looks a little bit awkward. Like, in the end. There we go. And I need to do the like actual like slight on the side. No, don't worry. It's an easy beginning thing to pick up when you're trying to figure out how to put order. I used to do it too. Yeah, like I'm still trying to work things out. Even if I'm like have been drawing for like years and years, like there's still things I'm trying to sort of. There's still things I'm still trying to like get like wrap my head around and get a handle of. But it is a process. It is a process, like everything, and that goes for like anyone, like watching, like it's just a process, like a lot of things in life. And if you like want to get better and you put the time into it, then you will get better. It just takes a lot of time. Oh, never mind. It's not that song. Whoops. Alright. Lighting. That is what I need to do. So, new layer folder. And the peace sign lighting. Right. Trying to think. How did I do it on one of my... I didn't really have, like, an actual sort of, like... Let me see if I can figure it out just like this. Like, of course it wouldn't be as haphazard as that, but I feel like maybe this would work, but if I turn the opacity down. Maybe, I'm not too sure. Like, would something like that work, or... Because it's more of like a solid sort of squiggly shape rather than just me trying to do individual... Yeah! Hell yeah. That was just me improvising. Maybe put a little... Yeah. I was intending on putting stuff on the point. Is there's another... In the Blade Chronicles X. But I have not played X. Probably in the same way as I did from before. But slightly longer. Oh yeah, the little grey blob. When I was doing like my colors and stuff, I'm trying to see what layer it belongs to. He is friend-shaped. Oh yeah, there. It was on the head layer. Oh wait, shit, I actually need to shade the eye. I forgot to do that. But I was using that to store like the color that I would use to shade the eye. I'm sorry, he's gone now, but I need to shade the eye. No, that doesn't look right. Right, so it wouldn't be like... There wouldn't be too much... Like, there would be like a little bit of like shading at the top. Yeah, that's what I was going to do. Like, I'm only doing like a light dusting of it at the top. That's a weird way of describing it. But a light dusting of it at the top, and then most of it will probably just be along the bottom. Especially given how like light is hitting things. And then in the headlighting... I'd say the grey is maybe a little dark. Yeah, possibly. I was trying to do... I swear, I was trying to do something a little bit more blue, but for some reason... Hold on. Let me find... Nah. Maybe... slumping... Oh, you like... Oh, wait. Hold on, then. Hold. Yeah, that actually works a bit. That works better. Now that I look at it. There we go. That's looking nice for the hair. I mean, I probably need to also do a little bit on the actual fringe, because otherwise that would just be a flat thing. I feel like the squiggly solution doesn't work. Actually, does the little squiggly solution also work here? I'm not sure. Try higher up. Yeah, maybe. A little higher up may be better for that. Because it would at least be consistent with, like, most, if not the rest of the hair. Yeah, that looks better. That looks a lot better. So, extras lighting... I kind of already got the extras lighting covered. I've got, like, the glare along the... It's just the lighting on here. Like, it would have to be more... I guess, like, it's white, but I guess it's, like... a bit subtle, in a way. I think that looks okay. Like, on the real, this is mostly just me, like, improvising, meandering around, like, trying to figure out stuff. Random thing to say now, since I know it's not a new thing. Go on. But I like that you don't... Yeah, no, like, I like the slight... Yeah, no. Like, I picked that up over time, that... Like, when I was, like, messing around with the line art and stuff, like, for some of the previous drawings, I realized that this, like, slightly sort of cooler grey line art works very well and lends very well to what I do. Of course, I'm eventually gonna... Yeah, it looks nice against the blues, yeah. I am definitely gonna redraw my stream avatar eventually, because it does use, like, solid black for the line art, which I did it at the time because I thought, yeah, this kind of works. But I do want to sort of redo it because I want to make it look more consistent with things. But also it would look nicer too. Yeah. I'm gonna like correct things with this as well. You know, make things more consistent with line art and fix some like little visual things that I'm... The one little thing I've liked is how heavy the line art is on the ponytail. Oh yeah, because like it's like thin at like the top, like where it comes out of the head, and then it just kind of sort of gets thicker the further down it gets because of how like I guess how bushy the ponytail can get. I guess I unintentionally kind of base that on how fluffy my hair can get. Which, you know, like, a neat little thing. Unintentional, but it is a neat little thing. I don't know if that's intentional. Yeah. Like, in a sense it was, but in a sense, it was kind of accidental as well. Though, I do, like, appreciate, like, thinking about it more in the sense of, yeah, this is just kind of how a ponytail would, like, act in a way, because it gets a bit bushy. Right, I believe... Like, I'm not sure if there's, like, anything else to add here, but I think this is looking good. Like, I've done, like, little touches for, like, lighting on the fingertips, and on the nails, and on the knuckles, too. I do need to add, like, the other little knuckle bit here, because I've... Like, just a moment. Then again, like, the top of the knuckle is, like, here. And then that just kind of is, like, there. There we go. Bringing the hand a bit on the left side of the pinky finger, the hand would sort of would sort of follow the side of that finger down the right. Yeah. Right, this is going to be a bit awkward to handle, but it will be done. So the whole line art, then peace sign lighting, peace sign shading, peace sign color. Ooh, come on. And then I need to tidy up. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I did, like, after a while, like, it did kind of stick out a bit, so it's looking better. Then again, of course, I need to tidy this up now. Right, this may have taken the whole of stream, but I'm pretty happy with this. I'm very happy with this. Look at me go! Look at me go! And I do intend on doing, like, yeah, little guy. It's little compared to the old one, and I think it works in its favor. Yeah, but I intend to do this with the other emotes that I drew myself, so that we have... I'd say, like, with those original versions, I'm not getting rid of them, like, from my folders. Like, I'd replace them on the Twitch, but I'm not getting rid of them from my folders because they work very well as, like, thumbnail art. Though I probably would go over those and touch them up a bit because, yeah, like that one. Because, like, I like what I did for that, though you could barely see it. So I will be making... Yeah, he is small. He is very small. Like... And he is small too. Compared to, like, the ones I drew, compared to the ones that Dragon drew, that she drew, like, they're very small compared to her ones. So, I am gonna try and sort of get these, like, scaled in a way that, like, you can actually see things properly. Over time. Not, like, in a mad rush, but as and when I can get to them. And I will be getting to sort of touching up on my little stream avatar again. Because, yeah, solid black, line art is kind of awkward. Honestly, the T1 can just be cropped below the chin and made bigger. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, with that being said, that out of the way, I'm pretty happy with this. So I'm gonna end stream here. Thank you ever so much for showing up, to everyone who showed up and everyone watching things back on the VOD, whether it's here on Twitch or on YouTube, depending on when you're watching it. I'm pretty happy with what I managed to get done today. Next stream, I will try and fit in a stream on Monday. Probably maybe slightly earlier because I'd need to wake up early the next day because from next Tuesday to partway through Friday, I will be away. So I'll be squeezing in Monday's stream earlier, just so I can get that in and then get to sleep. Anywho, thank you ever so much. I really appreciate it, and as always, I will see you all again in the very next stream.